coming, aren't Finance Committee agenda for tonight. Let's see. Chair would enter into a motion to, no. Call or to order the June 18th Financial Committee meeting at 6:48. Chair would enter into a motion for approval of claims.
Your Honor,
Consideration of claims, excuse
I'll
me.
make the motion to pay the claims in the amount of $801,946.19. The Elon credit card in the amount of $5,427.13. Manual checks in the amount of $3,000. Payroll and liabilities for 5/31/2024 and June 13th, 2024 in the amount of $445,548.34. For a grand total of $1,258,921.66.
I'll second.
Second motion by Carla Butter. Consider discussion for claims.
I don't have any.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's approved. Is there anything in addition to the committee needs to review or discuss? I have one. There's one on Viper. What are they doing for us?
Mr. Chairman, I would ask Mr. Eggleston to address that for you, if that's okay.
Thank you.
The $10,000 one? Right now, Your Honor, Viper Underground is still pumping the raw sewage down at A&T Trailer Park. Those are the fuel charges and the machine rental to pump that until they get that lift station installed. It's coming off out of the capital grant.
And we're thinking that the lift station will be complete.
I'm sorry, this is a different invoice. This is for the meter project.
Oh, okay. That's the water meter project.
Correct.
Replacement. That's so that it's not red, but it's digital.
It will be radio red once the system is live.
Okay. And they're doing that they're going in, you have to go in and replace, turn off, replace, turn back on, make sure it's working, et cetera, right?
That's correct.
Individually.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions?
Your Honor,
Yes.
if you'd like, we can also provide an answer to your question for the time frame.
For Viper on pumping.
Yep. Thank you, Your Honor. There's still a backlog waiting for the equipment to be delivered. We were hoping to have it in July sometime. We're still working with the contractor and their vendor to expedite that project and get it done.
And they're pumping that. Why is that?
The lift station at A&T Trailer House or Trailer Park is down. And why it is down, there's no way to pump that raw sewage out of that area.
Out of that holding tank that it flows into?
It flows into a manhole basically and then is pumped out of there into the mainline sewer.
Do we have a capacity in there so that we got a problem if it's not being pumped?
That's correct. It would overflow I don't know what the gallonage is on it, but it would overflow in short order.
Okay. And that would flow directly
It would flow directly into the roadways,
roadway and
drainages.
drainage, and then we've got a problem with OSHA, and we've got a discharge or a discharge permit, which we don't have. And then how many letters would you have to write, Mr. Butterfield?
Probably I'd have to write them.
Oh, okay.
Your Honor, I'd stand behind Brian as he writes those. But I appreciate the question. I think it's important to note that the lift station at A&T is very important. And for those in the audience, the reason that's in place is because you can't use gravity to flow the wastewater all the way to the treatment plant. So that's the purpose of the lift station there. And through the foresight of the Public Works Department and you as a council, the replacement of that lift station was approved for fiscal year '24. The contract was awarded for replacement, but unfortunately, the lead time on the parts have been longer than expected. And the failure that Mr. Eggleston mentioned happened after the project was awarded, but before we could get the parts in place to replace the entire lift station. And that's why Viper Underground has been pumping it outside of the operational reasons that were provided. But
So they have a pump there that is lifting it up into and flowing it down.
That's correct.
See, most people don't understand, but the All Nations is below the head of the sewer plant, and everything is in Riverton operates under gravity. Gravity is a great thing. It keeps us all in our seats, but at wrong times, it's an expense. All right, and so we're not, is that budgeted for?
Your Honor, that's correct. It was budgeted for replacement this current fiscal year, but because it's not going to be completed this fiscal year, those funds were moved into fiscal year '25 so that the project can be completed. Fortunately, when the failure happened at the lift station, we had this already in the works, but unfortunately the failure did occur. We do have to invest in the pumping costs until we can replace the entire lift station.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Is there any other additional? No, there isn't. Therefore, we will adjourn this meeting. Thank you. Now that was off script.
I now call the June 18th, 2024 regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7 PM. I shouldn't have put my phone away. Oh, 6
Yeah, you're.
7
you're-
PM. Councilmember Larson has agreed to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, after which Councilman Bailey has agreed to give us the invocation. If you could all rise and remove any hats.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dearest Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings that we all enjoy. Thank you for being able to be here to serve on the City of Riverton City Council. We're living in this wonderful city and this wonderful state. Please bless us in all that we do. Please bless that we will make good decisions with the matters before us. Please bless that you will keep all of our emergency responders, firemen, policemen, military people safe as they go about protecting us. And please, may we all serve you in everything that we do. We ask that we travel home safely tonight when we are done. We ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Larson and Councilman Bailey. Administrative Services Director, Mrs. Harris, would you please conduct the roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilmember Dean Peranto.
Here.
Councilmember Lindsay Cox. Here. Councilmember Mike Bailey.
Here.
Councilmember Carla Borders.
Here.
Councilmember Kyle Larson.
Here.
And Councilmember Christy Salisbury.
Here.
All right, I declare we have a quorum, and we have everybody here. That's great. I'd entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Discussion, amendments, additions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Council committee reports and council members roundtable. Let's go ahead and start with you, Councilwoman Salisbury, if you're ready.
Okay, I have not attended any committee meetings since the last meeting.
Okay,
Oh, I can prove it.
all right. Councilman Larson,
Just getting my notes from the downtown, oh, geez. Met with the Downtowners Committee on the 12th of June, and they're working on several projects. And one is the 20th, where you go to a store and buy so many items and you get a free-for-all store credit. Downtowners meeting, we're thinking of getting the crosswalks on Main Street painted, which is occurring as we now see. And they were interested in knowing about the medical district. Couldn't tell them anything about that. Second thing I have to report on is I met with the Solid Waste Committee, and the Du Bois is complete 100%. Sandrol's about 45% complete, and land or transfer station's about 47% complete. And we seem to be spending money like we enjoy it. But the important thing is we are compacting 1,205, whatever that is, per square inch down, so our vacancy or our freeboard is expanding. And so Mr. Butterfield won't be having to haul garbage sooner than he thinks he will be out to Sandrol. That's all I have, Your Honor.
okay, thank you. Councilwoman Borders.
Your Honor, I haven't had any meetings recently, but I did want to mention a couple things. The farmer's market at City Park is from 5 to 7 on Wednesdays. I think that's been going for a few weeks now. And also, the Little League is having their fireworks celebration Thursday, the 20th. From what I read, the fireworks are at 10 o'clock. As soon as it gets dark, they're having some other festivities as well, dinner and some championship games. So be good to get down there and support the kiddos. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Bailey.
Thank you. Again, I apologize. I've been gone for 3 weeks, and so I have not been at any meetings, and still playing catch-up since I got back last Friday. So, thank you.
You look more relaxed than you were before you left. So that was
Probably am,
good.
yes.
Looks like you needed it. Councilwoman Cox.
I haven't been to any meetings since our last meeting. I feel like I've been here mostly. But the rec board will meet July 1st at 7 o'clock. And I just want to remind people that were awarded money, they can turn in receipts at any time and get reimbursed. You don't have to wait till the end of the year. So we wrote a few checks at the last meeting, and just a reminder that those can be turned in with receipts. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Councilman Peranto.
Your Honor, just wanted to mention the WHAM meeting that was held in Pinedale this year. And a pretty awesome keynote speaker. I really enjoyed her presentation, the various breakout sessions, and I also appreciated attending and staff arranging travel and accommodations. It's really a worthwhile venture. And Pinedale has actually grown quite a bit. I was really surprised at is that an event center? No, they don't call it event center. It's a sport complex or whatever that is next to where we were. Just amazing. It kind of makes you wonder where they got all that money. But pretty fantastic. I haven't attended any other meetings, but we do have the Riverton or Central Wyoming Airport board meeting this morning, or on Friday morning at 7 a.m. here in these chambers.
Tell them about the hospital. You didn't see the hospital?
In Pinedale, I did not, but I will cede my time to you so you can enlighten us.
Well, they're building a regional hospital there, and it is spectacularly bigger. It's as big as the high school and as accommodating. The high school was built during the boom or bust natural gas coming out of Pinedale, and that is one beautiful high school.
It really is.
He didn't mention that we met with the governor, and the governor was there to greet all of the mayors, knew them by name, but he didn't know our mayor because our mayor didn't attend. And
Goes the bus.
he was there to break ground in the nuclear town of Kemmer, to break the ground for the nuclear reactor, which will replace the steam generator, coal-fired generator there. Anyway, Kyle, what kind of hospital expansion was going on? You were going to find that out, as I remember.
Your Honor, Councilman, unfortunately, I was not able to get details on it outside of driving by and looking at it. But there was a significant expansion. Layton Construction was doing the work. From what I understood, it was an effort that was supported by the county, but I didn't get too much more information about how it was funded and other partners. But very impressive expansion, and it's probably something that we could have the opportunity to tour and learn from as a community.
Thank you. That's all I had, Your Honor.
Okay.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Did you have anything to add before everybody interrupted you?
No, sir. I think I'll just put a fork in it. Thank you.
Before Kyle had to tattle on me for not being at WHAM for the summer?
Well, everybody was there, except you.
Clearly. Mike wasn't there.
That's right. I was gone too. So.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, neither was Carla. Christy wasn't there. Were you there, Christy?
No, I wasn't, but I will say Billings Clinic Bozeman Hospital is beautiful and large and only open from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. So we should probably be aware that we'll need to continue to support our local hospital with funding.
I agree. Okay, thank you. Mr. Butterfield.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have a few things to make note of. I would like to announce that there will be a special meeting of the City Council Friday, June 28th at noon, and that is for the purpose of a year-end budget amendment. We appreciate that we can meet Friday rather than our standard Tuesday, and the reason for that is we'd like to finalize our payroll costs and liability costs, which we will be doing next week. So I commend my staff because this will be a tight turnaround for them as we process payroll, liabilities, and then as Ms. Harris provides that last balancing budget amendment. So special meeting will be scheduled Friday, June 28th at noon. We appreciate that. There's a public meeting scheduled for June 26th at 5:30 here in the council chambers. This is coming from the Fix Our Road Citizens Committee in the Public Works Department. The purpose of this public meeting is to receive feedback and communicate with the community about the 1% projects that will be underway this construction season. It's an opportunity to ask questions and receive information from the respective contractors and also from our Public Works Department. The EDGE application period is open and will close at the end of this month, and to date there's been one submittal received. So those that are interested or could benefit from the use of the optional 0.5% tax for economic development, there is opportunity to submit an application for review by the EDGE committee and then ultimately by the City Council. As a reminder, for economic development purposes, as it relates to the optional tax, the threshold for economic development is to create jobs or sustain jobs in our community or to bring an influx of money into the community. So those that could provide either of those or meet those thresholds are welcome to apply. It's already been referenced about the airport board, but that will be this Friday at 8 o'clock. And I do want to say that attending the WHAM conference was enjoyable and appreciated. There were a lot of informative sessions that staff and elected officials were able to participate in that ranged from grant management, generational differences in the workforce, employee engagement, drug policies and legislation, strategic planning, public records requests, and addressing housing needs. And that's not covering all of them. So it was very valuable and beneficial. Unfortunately, the Wyoming Outdoor Recreation Grant that was applied for and approved by you was not received. We did provide matching monies in the fiscal year 25 budget. We will have opportunity to work with you if you'd like to do something with at least those matching funds that were squared away for City Park, or if we'd like to save those for a future grant application. But unfortunately, that grant did not receive favorable consideration. And as a reminder, that was to improve the tennis courts, replace them with pickleball courts, provide for better parking, and then also an additional bathroom facility, specifically at the southwest corner of City Park. City staff has been working with the mayor on the Chapter 56 permit. That is the urban deer reduction permit that we received from Wyoming Game and Fish. After their review, we'll receive that permit, hopefully, and then we'll have opportunity to work with our animal control officer and the police department on the urban reduction program. Last year, we did not participate in this program. However, the 2 years prior, we were able to participate in it, and we'll provide more information to the community and the public on how they can participate, how the program will be run, and how safety will be considered as the urban deer reduction program is implemented. I'm happy to report that the wayfinding project that's supported by the Wind River Visitor Council is moving forward. I did receive a preliminary report for Du Bois, Riverton, and Lander as it relates to the implementation of the signs that you helped approve. Unfortunately, the Visitor Council is able to stretch the dollars farther than originally anticipated. We first thought that we would have to prioritize locations to sign and provide wayfinding for, but with the additional funds that were able to be secured, all of the 20 priorities will be signed as part of the wayfinding project. That includes the airport, the college, the library, Ryan Park, the Sabin and Honeycutt Complex, the 1838 Rendezvous Site, the Legion Field, the dog park, the high school with its green space, playing areas in the swimming pool, the golf course, the ice arena, the river walk, the cemetery, the Chamber and Visitor Center, the Riverton Museum, the RV dump station, J.C. Park and Babe Ruth Field, Sunset Park, City Hall and the Police Department, and finally the fairgrounds. So all of those locations will be part of an overall signage plan that will be implemented in the near future. And we're very excited to provide feedback on the locations and then see that implementation happening very soon. Last, I'd like to provide an update on the hiring efforts that are underway at the city. We currently have openings for dispatcher, administrative assistant, police lieutenant, airport operator, water treatment plant trainee or operator, and, excuse me, I'll have to refresh my screen here. Community service officer, police lieutenant, and patrol officer. Currently, there are 35 applications that have been received for this opening for patrol officer, as reported to you in our weekly report. Unfortunately, a lot of these have been screened out. However, we do have a good pool of applicants that will be attending the physical test this upcoming June 26th, and then interviews will be held on that date as well. For the community service officer, there have been 10 applications received during the advertising period. The water treatment plant trainee position has received 3 positions. However, while it's advertised as a trainee position, we would hire any transfer for another operator that has the current licenses with the DEQ. For those that don't have the licenses, we still encourage people to apply because we invest in the training and the people to go from a trainee position to an operator position. The airport operator position has 6 applications. The police lieutenant has 11. Administrative assistants has 25, and dispatcher currently has 2. And that again is for the open period of the advertisement. We will continue to work with HR to fill our vacancies and recruit staff to our organization. And with that, Your Honor, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Butterfield. In terms of what I will report on, in speaking to the downtowners, one of their goals right now is to try to partner with the city and try to do things that can beautify and improve the parking area behind Kussel's there. Behind Kussel's, behind the theater. I'm not trying to show any favoritism to one business or the other. That block. So that's something that's going to be coming up, and they're going to be looking for folks to assist. That's in the early stages, but that's a big project that they're wanting to be involved in.
They did mention one small thing.
You just are all about it today.
All the trailers that have been parked there need to be policed and removed.
Yeah, and
There are substantial numbers down there.
that's part of what they're wanting to have be the partnership between the city and between the downtowners. And there's a lot of different goals with it, but I guess just be aware that is something we're wanting to get going on.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can have that reach some fruition this summer, be able to improve how that will look. So looking forward to that. We have a DUI task force meeting tomorrow at 10:30. This is not something that's just, particular people, invite only. You're invited. If you're wanting to be involved in considering solutions to the DUIs that plague our county, we'd love to have you there. Right now, the task force mainly consists of law enforcement personnel, folks that are working in the area of mental health and substance abuse. But if you're interested, if it's something that you feel like you could add to and assist with in any way, I'd encourage you to come and to be a part of it. We recently had a Riverton versus Lander Rotary baseball game, and I'm pleased to announce Riverton won. And I think that means that if you're looking to join Rotary, you should join the Riverton Club. I don't know if that's what that means. But I really enjoyed that game. For a game that was filled with novice baseball players, nothing against you Rotarians. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Wasn't a lot of pro recruiting going on?
No.
All right.
But I'll tell you, as a first baseman, I'd put Mick Pryor against just about anybody. Holy cow. Anyway, it was a very fun game to watch. That was held in Hudson as part of Hudson Days, and I enjoyed it. It was great. We also had the Porter's Grilling Competition just last Saturday as part of their kind of Father's Day thing that they do every year. It was a lot of fun. Bartley Schwegler, who's one of our police officers, participated. He did not win, which was too bad, but I felt like he did really well. His ingredient he had to use was rhubarb, and I wish I had had the chance to be a judge. I don't know why they didn't ask me. I would have loved to have done it, but oh well. Maybe next year, County 10. Not you, but just saying. But I did get a chance to do the Dad Olympics. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to the Dad Olympics. That is a kick. You have about 6 events. One of them is changing diapers. Now this is basic diaper changing. It's a doll. Not like real kids that squirm and you kind of have to figure out different strategies to keep the limbs down while you're changing the diaper. So it was easy. This was novice diaper changing.
Diaper 101, right?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. So they had dolls that they had filled with Nutella that you had to change the doll's diaper and resist the urge to. Anyway, we'll move on. So we had to change a diaper. We had to bait a hook, which was pretty fun. Although the worms they had there were so thin, it was a hard one to do. Had to hula hoop once. You could see this on their video, by the way. I do it if you wanted to be entertained. You had to do a cornhole. You had to throw 6 beanbags into a cornhole, and you had to tie a tie. I would wager I got the best score for tying ties. I'm just telling you, there were 6 competitors. I think I got the best time for that. But I won, just so you know. Yes, please hold your applause to the end. I knew those 6 kids would come in handy somewhere.
That's right.
But that was a lot of fun, and I hadn't gone to that event before, and I'm looking forward to it. I definitely will go back next year. It was fun to be able to get a free lunch. They had, hamburgers and hot dogs out and everything, and it was just so fun, and I would encourage folks to attend. They had a bounce house. It was just there in the Porter's parking lot. So next year, would encourage you to attend. It was enjoyable. And maybe I'll compete next year too, so maybe Kyle could compete against me and see if he can. We did have I also had an opportunity to attend a lunch and learn. Let's see, this would have been 2 Thursdays ago with the Chamber, and that was a great opportunity. It was all about retaining and hiring. It was put on by Mike Hoyt, who runs Bootstrap Collaborative, which by itself is a great program. If you run a small business, I would encourage you to contact them and see any way that they can assist you. They have, for example, if you have need of a lawyer, an accountant, or something like that, they can get you set up with somebody that can assist you, and then they can cover all or part of what they would normally be paid to provide that service. So really good opportunity and way to help small businesses in the community. Mike did a great job putting on the presentation. You can ask Kyle. During the presentation, I was sending him text about different ways that we can use some of the ideas he provided. So I really appreciated that put on by the Chamber and appreciate Mike Hoyt and the Bootstrap Collaborative group. So that's stuff that I was involved in. I guess upcoming things to remind the community about, the Wyoming Community Bank anniversary is this Thursday, I think starting at noon. They had their lunch today, but they're celebrating their 25th anniversary, I think. A lot of anniversaries this year for businesses. When is Bailey's having yours? No, nothing, huh? And then Job Corps also has an open house. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should figure it out. I mean, everybody else is celebrating an anniversary this year. Job Corps has an open house also on Friday. They're celebrating the 65th anniversary, I think, of Job Corps. Not, of course, the Job Corps in Riverton, but of Job Corps in general. And so they're doing an open house. If you know, they don't really invite the public up to their campus all that often, but I think it's a good opportunity to find out more about what they do and see what we have going on in Riverton. Anyway, so that's what I've been participating in. Next up, communication from the floor, citizens' comments. If individuals in the audience wish to address the council regarding an item that's scheduled for a public hearing, you'll be given an opportunity to speak during that public hearing. Even if it's not an item that's set for a public hearing, if you'd like to speak, get my attention. We could give you a few minutes to speak if you'd like. Generally speaking, we ask comments to be limited to 5 minutes for individuals, 10 minutes for groups. If you have a group that wants to speak, split it up between your group for 10 minutes. But if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak, please come on up, tell us your name, and if you're with an organization, what organization you're with.
Hi. I'm Lisa Wright. I am with Epic Salon Spa, and I brought some cards for everybody to say thank you.
Thank you.
I also brought a little, I guess, half invitation, since the print shop's not done with the full.
It's like an anniversary.
It's like an anniversary.
It's not the anniversary, it's going to be.
It's a pre-anniversary.
It's a good day.
Year zero.
I was, as some of you know,
Thank
a
you.
recipient of the EDGE grant this go-round.
Thank you.
I was a recipient of the EDGE grant, and makes me weepy. I can't tell you how much I thank you guys. I have the EDGE committee, I have your things as well. We are now opening in 11 days. So everything's done, the flooring's done, the paint. You all know how hard my husband has worked. I had to ask his permission to come today because I have to work too. So it's amazing, it's incredible, and it's thanks to you guys. I hope you guys will all take a few minutes on the 29th to come. We're gonna do food, we'll have things for kids, we'll have drawings, we'll just show our appreciation for all of you and welcome the community to come. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Appreciate it. Excited. I'll be there.
Oh,
Anyone-
my husband said he will put himself up against your tying and diaper changing next year.
Perfect. That's right. I knew you. You guys have, what was it, 15 kids?
9 kids and 13 grand.
9 kids. I thought 6 was a lot. No, I tried to get him to come.
He said, no, I'm right, elbow deep in paint.
I think we ought to get Kyle. We could get your husband. We could get Ryan Preston, maybe.
I won last year, so.
Oh, really? Oh, good. Well, you should be back. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Anyone else in the audience? All right. Thank you. Administrative Services Director, Ms. Harris, could you please read the consent agenda items by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes, June 4th, 2024, regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes, June 11th, 2024, special meeting. Approval of the minutes, June 18th, 2024, Finance Committee meeting. Approval of the Finance Committee recommendations, June 18th, 2024, and the JAC Jack Addition Plat rename.
Thank you. Any items requiring further discussion?
Your Honor, the Finance Committee met this, prior to this meeting, and Consideration of claims for $801,946.19. Credit cards in the amount of $5,427.13. Manual checks written in amount of $3,000. Payroll liabilities for May 31st and June 13th in the amount of $448,548.34 for a total of $1,258,921.66.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilwoman Cox with the second. Discussion, amendments, additions?
Your Honor, I'll abstain from the Bailey Enterprises line items on the Finance Committee report.
And Your Honor, I'll abstain from traveling computers line items.
All right, noted. Thank you. Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Evolve, diversify, and grow our economy recipient reports. Kind of had one, but we have the rest of them set up. Mrs. Harris.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll invite Mrs. Wright back after she's landed on her feet a little bit. That's an opportunity to come back and see us. On August 8th, 2020, the voters of Fremont County approved the optional 0.5% sales tax for the purpose of economic development. As Mr. Butterfield had stated, economic development is designed as any project that retains or increases employment or results in a net gain of money into the community. Since the inception of the tax, the City of Riverton has received over $2.5 million and distributed slightly more than $2.1 million. This fiscal year, beginning July 1st, 2023, the city has distributed $928,295 in funding. At the May 7th Riverton City Council meeting, 2 of the recipients, Cafaro and Central Wyoming College, presented progress reports on their funding. Tonight, 2 more recipients are here to present the status of their project and how their funding has benefited their organizations and the local community. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce representatives of the Riverton Medical District, followed by the Riverton Ice Hockey Association.
Yeah, just get it over. Pull that up. We're going to get something on here, just a minute.
This is part of the other duties as assigned from the city administrator.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
And if you could tell us your name when you start talking. I know who you are, but for the people that don't.
That looks great. Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, City Council members, thank you for the invitation to be here to present to you tonight. My name is Cindy McDonald. I'm a member of the Riverton Medical District Board, and Travis Kane, another member, is here with me tonight. I want to start with the reassurance that the hospital project is still going strong. The progress isn't always very visible, but we are working hard every single day to make this happen. I am thrilled to announce that as of yesterday, we officially have a general contractor. Our board has selected BHI, and we're proceeding quickly with them to get the work started to get to our budget and design goals. BHI brings hospital design experience, and because they're based in Vernal, Utah, where a Life Point Hospital is, they're very familiar with our situation here. As you know, the majority of the money to construct the hospital is coming from the USDA Community Facility Loan, with another substantial amount from ARPA grants through the state of Wyoming. Even with all that funding, we need billions of dollars more to build the hospital, because the USDA loans and the ARPA grants don't cover that amount, those extra millions. So the welcome source of support from all of you, from the City of Riverton, from Fremont County through the Economic Development Funds, has been very welcome to us. I remember standing on Main Street in one of the pandemic Friday night cruises, collecting signatures with other members of Riverton Medical District to get this economic development tax on the ballot. We knew that it would be an important part of getting our hospital built, and it has been. Last year, we received $36,958 from the city to help pay for 2 of our consultants. These are expenses that the USDA and ARPA doesn't cover. This money went toward project management and branding services. This is in addition to the $880,000 that we previously received from the city for the construction of the hospital. To show you how much of an economic development impact this hospital will have on our community, I want to direct you to our website. I've put it on the screens here. Well, Kyle put it on the screens here, thank you. And feel free to follow along if you can't see it very well on your own devices. It's at rivertonmedicaldistrict.com. I won't take the time to show you everything, but, oh, is this now? Does this work? Oh, it's backwards to my computer. The home page has just general information about us with a place to subscribe for our emails, and also links down there at the bottom for our social media sites so that you can follow along on our updates there. You can find all the latest on the news page. I have to take a minute to show you the latest renderings from our architect. I think you've all seen this picture probably. It's the front of the hospital. Just for reference, I don't know if you can see the mouse very well, but the center of the hospital is the entrance. To the left of the main entrance is the clinic wing. Down on the first floor is the clinic. And then on the right, clear down at the end, you'll see the emergency room on the bottom floor. Next to that is imaging and the pharmacy and the lab. Up above on the second floor on the right are all the patient rooms, ICU rooms, and labor and delivery recovery rooms also, which is exciting. In the center of the hospital on the second floor is surgery, and that covers most of the basics. This is what you would see if you walked into the hospital. The first thing you would see, the registration desk. Those doors on the left lead back to the dining area. This is what you would see if you just turn to the left and look down toward the clinic area. You'll notice the fun big fireplace, the waiting areas, and those doors down there at the end go to the clinic. The clinic has 15 exam rooms for providers to see their patients during appointments. This is one of those exam rooms. It's exciting to me, with my hospital experience, to see all of the evidence-based design that's gone into this hospital and all the help we've had from Billings Clinic. And there are many, many specialists who have helped us to get the latest and greatest. This is the care team area at the back of the clinic. So if you're back in the lobby, now here's a little bit different view. You can see there's a door kind of hidden behind the registration desk there. That's a conference room that I'll show you later. And if you look up, you can see that it's open to the second floor. So we'll go up there now, and you can see into a hospital room, one of the patient rooms. And this is another view of what it will look like. This is a picture of the hall. The patient rooms are down the right. Also, patient rooms are on the other side, so they take advantage of all the big windows on the front and the back. And that's one of the care team desk areas, and another view of it with their workstations. This is downstairs again in the dining area. Some more of that. And the conference room that I talked about. So I'm pretty excited about all that. I think it's great. Let me get out of there and go back to the news page. So if you go down a bit on that page, we have made the news, sometimes even on a national scale, so you can flip through and read any of those articles. Then the About page shows our story and answers some frequently asked questions. And we all get a little bit excited about this, and so we're happy for anyone to reach out anytime to contact us, and these are the ways that you can do that. So going back to economic development, in our story, you probably can't read that, but it says that the hospital will support 140 new jobs and generate more than $25 million of yearly economic activity in our community. In addition, 90 jobs will be created during construction. Let's head back here. So as you can see, this project is very important to our city and county in economic development. But as a nurse, I have to emphasize the critical nature of this project relating to improving healthcare access. Reduction of healthcare services in rural areas is not just a problem in Riverton or in Wyoming. It is a crisis affecting people all over. The reason that our little town has been featured in national news articles and publications is because people in our community have stepped up and spoken out and organized themselves to do something about it here. Our board and so many people in this community who support us are passionate about making a change and refusing to accept limited access to health care. The City of Riverton and Fremont County, through the 0.5% sales tax, are vital partners in our mission to bring back crucial medical services to our community. These economic development funds are helping us reach our goal of improving rural health care access in Riverton. Building a hospital is a complicated process that is taking so much longer than any of us would like, but rest assured that we are working hard every single day and we will not quit. We're doing this because our commitment to providing essential health care is unwavering, and we will persevere until Riverton has the medical services it needs and deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Have any questions while you're up there, Ms. McDonald?
Looks great.
Thank you.
Certainly appreciate the report and definitely creating 140 new jobs. That's exciting.
It is exciting.
But we're just taking it one step at a time, and right now we're at the point where you have a
Yep,
contractor.
We've got a contractor, and that's been a big goal. And so we've reached another milestone, which is amazing. And we're going forward with them as fast as we can.
You're going to break ground tomorrow.
Oh, I wish. Don't we all wish?
I will say a lot of people have asked me and said, hey, the hospital's already breaking ground. And I've been like, that's the Tractor Supply store.
Yes, yes.
Nothing against them. We're excited to have them there.
That is great, too.
They are not the hospital.
Yep. But ours is next.
Quelch that rumor right
They're
now.
carrying the plaster for the casts.
Right.
There you go.
Yes. What were you going to say, Councilman Larson?
I was wondering, on the current design, what we are projecting for the bed count in that current.
I believe the current bed count in the patient rooms is 13. 2 of those is ICU, and 2 of those are LDRP, the labor, delivery, recovery, postpartum rooms.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a possibility, I suppose, if you had 4 people trying to deliver at the same time, theoretically, you know, those stormy weekends that you have?
Yes, yes. All of the rooms are together there, and people who work in hospitals are very resourceful, so it would work.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yep. Yep.
Good.
And of course, there are plans, you know, every plan we made was built to be expanded so that there's easy expansion in all directions, and we know where it'll be when the time comes to.
Perfect. But the idea is level 3 trauma care, 24/7 surgery availability, so we're not
Yes.
having to ship people out
Absolutely.
for surgery on an emergency basis.
Yep,
And then labor and delivery suites and orthopedic services.
yes,
Kind of been your goal from the beginning, and you've
Correct.
stayed with those. You haven't
correct.
budged on any of those.
We can't budge on any of those. Those are the services that our feasibility study said that we could provide, and that's what all of our numbers are based on, and that's what our USDA loan is based on. So we can't reduce any services from that without going back to the drawing board and starting all over.
Gotcha. Well, good.
Yep.
Travis, did you want to add anything?
No, we're not doing that. We're not going back to the drawing board.
Thank you.
We are not looking back, only forward.
Yep.
Well, I certainly appreciate the hard work you've put into it, and it's exciting, and looking forward to when you have your groundbreaking. That'll be great.
Aren't we all? Thank you.
But the
Yes.
Tractor Supply is not the hospital.
That is not the
Just
hospital.
wanted to remind people
Look
as
a
they're
little
looking.
further north. Yep.
Well, thank you, Mrs. McDonald. I appreciate
welcome.
it, and I really appreciate everybody on the board that's put a lot of hard work into it. There's different people that we've seen at different times, and I feel like I've heard Vivian speak a million times. I've heard you speak a couple of times. It's always good. And I just had Court the other day who was at the chamber meeting. So I really appreciate everybody on the board. And I appreciate that you're trying to kind of get everybody involved in speaking so you're not wearing anybody out too much.
Yep, we're all doing a lot of work.
Good.
Yep.
And next time we hear from Travis, right?
Sure.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the report.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Hamilton with the Ice Hockey Association, the president of, I guess I should say. Pop open a PowerPoint, maybe. It's hard to follow that. Much bigger project than what I've got cooking.
But they kind of could work together, the 24/7 surgery availability.
The 24/7 surgery, but with the money you gave me, I can't send them over there for, frostbite anymore. So
Fair enough.
we've moved past. Basically, let's see. I don't know how to start a slide anymore, guys.
I think if we go to new,
View slideshow.
Oh, slideshow? Oh, we're in it there. Thank you.
yeah, there you go.
Okay. So it was the Riverton Ice Hockey Association REIT improvements. We were going through the financials of the project, Edge, and thank you very much. You guys awarded us $25,174. Baker Heating and Air supplied the heaters and the gas lines within the building. There was 3 heaters. I have projects of that. That was $22,188.67. There's a heater on the visitor stands. There's a heater on the home stands, the big stands we have, and then a heater across the bench lines where the kids are waiting to get on the ice. And so the year before was worse. This last one wasn't too bad. But when you get into some of those negative 10-degree temperatures, it's everything you need to keep a little bit of heat in that 3-walled building. So Bill Jones Plumbing did the natural gas lines labor. That was the first part. Initial projects was to run kind of along the building. But with some expertise, it was decided to just bury the gas lines, an 1.5-inch gas line into the Zamboni shed, and then run up into the building too. So we had that, the pressure testing, and the gas line under the building. So really, our organization ended up spending another $2,287 on the project, but we didn't mind. It got us heaters, and like I said, these are beautiful pictures that I have. I can't follow up with an awesome website. But yeah, the heaters across player benches there. This is a second heater over the other bleacher set, and the gas meter out front. We were able to, part of this project was actually able to get the natural gas lines into our Zamboni shed for our boiler system. And with that, we're able to actually put layers of ice down with the Zamboni about every 20 minutes. And reduce the association's bills significantly for actually being able to keep the heat and produce heat. And we were on a propane tank prior to. So it's helped basically keep our rates as the association for our players the same and keep that level down. And then hopefully to be able to invite more people to come. It's the #1 thing. Our fans hate coming to watch, and even locals don't like to come watch because it's darn near freezing. But hopefully this will help out. So the broiler system's in, we'll have awesome ice. It was awesome ice this last year. So much harder because the way you lay with a Zamboni is with hot water, and the only way to build good ice for skating is with hot water. And so it's helped out significantly. So with that, it was just a huge thanks for that. And I know the kids thank you, and I'd have a team of them in here, but I'm pretty sure they're all playing baseball right now. So, so thank you. One question, I guess you need copies of receipts and files. I have them on a folder here. You want me to mail?
Not for this one,
Not
that's
for this
the
one?
rec board. But yeah, gotcha.
Perfect.
Bring receipts for the rec board.
Rec board.
Rec
Sounds
board.
good.
If you've received any money from them, or you have any plan to.
Well, I have.
Good.
Yes, I will bring receipts for
Yeah.
the rec board. Okay.
Perfect. Well, appreciate it. Ryan, do we have any questions for President Hamilton? I had never put it together, but you do have a famous last name.
$10 bill.
Well, and you have a musical named after you, too?
It's something like that, yeah. Alexander,
Yeah.
all trouble.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you both for the report. That's really good news. And I guess I did have a question if it's not too late. You guys had planned, I think, to do an additional tournament or something was part of what was in the works, or trying to be able to work that out.
Yeah, trying to basically hold some maybe 3-on-3 tournaments and, get more teams and stuff on the ice. And those are huge fundraisers for the program that we haven't done yet.
Okay.
So coming up even this fall, we're planning on doing a lot more get everybody more into thinking about hockey. It's a weird scenario. We actually have to have signups in by September 1st. And we don't get on the ice till maybe the end of November because we are on a weather-dependent rink. And so we'll be doing some activities prior to, maybe even just some dry land floor hockey or something of the sorts. And then once we get into our winter program, maybe hold some, what I would call more recreation tournaments. Start with that locally and get those going. And then hopefully in the future, we have more ice rinks to actually, we can hold them in June or August or something of that sort in the future. Yeah, we'll bring in some more stuff.
And there's still efforts going towards joint soccer, hockey facility in the future. I know that was a little bit of a blow. We didn't get the funding from the legislature, but...
Right. Yeah, still talking about it, still going around it. The summertime hits, and I know Kyle's been absolutely torn down busy, and so have I, between everything else we do. But the conversation's not away, and we're still putting a hand out, trying to find people that, are willing to donate or start something. So we'll see where it pans out, but without talking about it, it never does happen, so. Yeah.
Right, well, good. Mr. Butterfield?
Your Honor, and just in addition to that, one of the benefits of attending WHAM was there were representatives from USDA there. Ms. Harris and I were able to speak with them about the grant that we have in with them to support the feasibility study, and then also with the budget that was just adopted last week. There are funds from the city to support and match the grant funds should it be received. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we'll get word on that grant for several months still.
Okay, well, good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you, Mrs. Harris, for getting that together. And when do we have our next ones coming in? Probably in another quarter?
Yeah, I would estimate a month, probably in the next month.
Okay.
And we've been trying to do them about monthly.
I guess for the public, both viewing and here, part of how that works out is we've not wanted to have folks come in until they actually are contractually supposed to have expended the funds. You don't want to have people come in and say, hey, how did you spend the money? And they haven't spent it yet. So in terms of the MOU with each of the organizations, funds had to be expended by a certain date. And so that's kind of part of the timing of our EDGE recipients coming in and visiting, and certainly appreciate you coming in and appreciate your hard work. I haven't been back to the hockey rink since we were there last year, and my wife walked away with frostbite because she went there with a skirt. She didn't get frostbite, but she did threaten not to go back. But I'll go back on my own this time, and I won't wear a skirt.
Thank you.
But anyway, thank you. All right, Citizen Board Appointment, EDGE Committee, Administrative Services Director's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. On September 20th of 2020, the Riverton City Council approved Resolution Number 1422, establishing the EDGE Committee to advise the governing body on the use of the optional 0.5% economic development tax revenues for the purchase of economic development. Pursuant to the resolution language and approved bylaws of the committee, the membership shall consist of 7 regular members and 2 alternate members. Those would be voting members when regular members are absent. A vacancy on the board prompted the need to fill an alternate position. The city staff began the 3-week advertising for applications of interest beginning May 24th and ending on June 13th. This evening, the staff recommends appointment of Rochelle Sheldon to serve as an alternate member to the EDGE Committee for the remaining term of the 2024 calendar year.
All right. Yes, I had gotten a letter from Rochelle Sheldon, co-owner of RTO Point S, lifelong resident of Riverton. I really appreciate her being willing to step up and fill the vacancy, so my recommendation would be to appoint her as an alternate member to the Evolve, Diversify, and Grow Our Economy Committee. I would note our alternate members get plenty of time being able to serve on the committee. We've got a couple of members of the EDGE Committee here that can attest to that. Just the way it gets, people get busy and alternates get a lot of opportunities to actually vote and participate. So really appreciate her willingness to do that. So I'd entertain a motion to confirm my recommendation to appoint Rochelle Sheldon as an alternate member to EDGE.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 I vote aye. Motion passes. Any opposed, say nay. I heard everybody say aye, so I didn't ask for any opposition, but, all right, motion passes. All right, public hearing and consideration of retail liquor license transfer of ownership from Riverton Hotel Development LLC to Safari Timberline Hotels LLC. Administrative Services Director's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Included in your packet this evening is the application for a transfer of liquor license from Riverton Hotel Development LLC to Safari Timberline Hotels LLC, doing business as Hampton Inn and Suites, located at 2500 North Federal Boulevard. The application was filed with the City Clerk's office on May 10th, 2024. The proper fees have been paid and proper notice to the public has been advertised. Upon council approval and final certification from the Liquor Division, the license will be issued as operational.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bailey with the motion, Councilman Pronto with the second. All in favor, say aye.
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 I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing open. Hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes and other applicable laws. I'd ask individuals wishing to address the council on this topic to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Anyone in the audience who wishes to speak about the transfer of ownership from Riverton Hotel Development LLC to Safari Timberline Hotels LLC.
Your Honor, seeing none, I would move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Bailey, seconded by Councilwoman Cox. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Declare the public hearing closed. I'd entertain a motion to approve the transfer of ownership of a retail liquor license for Safari Timberline Hotels LLC for the remainder of the 4/1/2024 through 3/31/2025 liquor licensing term.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Bailey, second by Councilwoman Cox. Discussion. Mr. Preston, since you're here, still going to be Hampton Inn and Suites. Everything is going to be the same in terms of how you are marketed and all of that. Is that correct?
Yeah, nothing will change. I mean, everything basically stays the same. We're not gonna actually sell any liquor at all, so it'll just be beer and wine.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Thanks for coming. Airport engineering consultant contract approval. Public Works Director's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. As you'll recall, on April 6th of this year, we started soliciting statements of qualifications for engineering firms for a 5-year period to serve Central Wyoming Regional Airport. We received 4 firms with proposals, and Ardura Group Incorporated was selected by the committee as their number 1 choice. The City Council subsequently approved that motion and directed staff to begin negotiations at the May 21st City Council meeting. Since that time, we have negotiated the contract to include all the projects that are already identified on our airport capital plan. These projects, as they come out, will seek a cost or summary of the cost to execute these projects, and those projects will then be provided or sent out for an independent fee assessment. This ensures that the proposal we received is fair and marketable in the marketplace that we we live in now. That's where the budget impact would be, but most of these funds are federal funds and YDOT funds when those projects come out. Be our recommendation to approve the contract between Adura Group, Inc. and the City of Riverton.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the professional services agreement, master agreement between the City of Riverton and Ardura Group, Inc. relating to engineering services provided at Central Wyoming Regional Airport.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Peranto. Second by Councilwoman Borders. Discussion, amendment, questions?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I would just make note that we do have a representative from Ardura in the audience, Mr. Wes Werbelow, and we're grateful that he's here. And I will not put him on the spot and ask him to speak, but I just want you to let you know that there is an individual here from the organization, and we appreciate their support tonight.
I have no qualms about it on the spot. You just saw me pull Mr. Preston out. I mean, I could have brought him out to talk about Edge. Well, if we have any questions for you, we'll pull you out. Other than that, we'll let you sit this time. Any questions? Feel comfortable with it?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Pretty similar document to what we had with
Aviation.
our previous contractor. So, all right. Sounds good. Well, excited to be working with you. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Thanks for being here. How far did you drive? That's not too bad. Good. Glad to hear that. Well, and I did see a little bit of your website and everything. This is something that's right up your alley, so to speak, so.
If I may.
Yeah, sure, come on up. Tell everybody your name again.
Yeah, so thank you, Your Honor, and council members. My name is Wes Werbelow. I'm a project manager and our Cody office manager. I've been with the company about 10 years now. I do a lot of work at Pinedale, Rock Springs, Lander, and Casper airports, so this is kind of right in my corridor. And we also work in our company in Wyoming at Thermopolis and Bighorn County airports and Worland, and so we're at 13 airports across the state. Also serve on the Wyoming Airports Coalition Board with Mr. Butterfield, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have about the company. Otherwise, looking forward to working with you guys and your airport group over the next few years. So.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for making the drive.
You bet. Thank you.
Take care. All right, next up, lease agreement, DEQ air quality testing. City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will be brief because we've already discussed this previously, but we did have a proposal from the DEQ to set up a permanent air quality monitoring station on some property owned by the City of Riverton. The property currently is used as a stormwater detention pond, and its location is near the corner of Park and Smith, just behind the Cliffview Mobile Home Park. The lease is for a 20 by 20 square foot space, and the term of the lease is for 10 years with $4,000 a year to be paid annually for the leased space. The previous mobile station that was located there that we discussed at a different meeting had an annual rent of $1,800. So since this was a permanent structure, the lease requires a higher payment. There's also provisions in there that the monitoring would only be for the air particulate matter that was discussed by the DEQ with you at your previous meeting, and any other monitoring would have to be approved by you before it took place. The agreement has been reviewed by the city's attorney and also the DEQ's attorney, and is ready for your approval. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Butterfield, I entertain a motion to approve the lease agreement between the Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality and the City of Riverton to lease ground for an air monitoring station.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilman Bailey with a second. Discussion? I appreciate you noting those two items within the lease, Mr. Butterfield, the additional cost, because we are talking about a permanent structure as opposed to a trailer, and then noting that in the lease, for air particulates only, if there would be any change in that, that there'd have to be notification and approval. So. All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Consideration of resolution number 1504, fee schedule for public records request. Administrative Services Director's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. The provisions of the Wyoming Public Records Act are contained in Wyoming State Statute 16-4-201 through 16-4-205 and defines the rules and regulations pertaining to the definition of public records and the right of inspections. Specifically, 16-4-204 states that the official custodian may set reasonable fees for services rendered, copies, printouts, or photographs of public records. The City of Riverton currently charges $20 per hour and 25 cents per copy for providing specific requested records to the public. In researching comparable costs with other municipalities and state agencies, the fees associated with staff time vary by wages based on the position of the employee performing the research, plus any hard charges including costs. The staff is requesting that fees be adopted to reflect the current pricing specific to staff time and research and retrieval of the records. Some examples of costs would be a range of $1,706 to $2,201 for clerical staff, $1,807 to $30.80 for IT staff, and $30.56 to $42.98 for professional staff. The staff is requesting that the fees be adopted to reflect the current pricing specific to the staff time, and it should be noted that there's no charge currently for readily available records, and we are not proposing a change to that at all. And additionally, the first hour of staff time for any research will be waived. City staff would provide an estimate of reasonable costs to retrieve the records, which must be paid in advance by the requester. And I would stand for any questions that you have. I have included a copy of the entire statute in your packet for your review as well.
Thank you. If you could please read resolution number 1504 by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed resolution number 1504, a resolution of the governing body of the City of Riverton adopting a fee schedule for public records requests.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 1504, fee schedule for public records request.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilwoman Cox with second. Discussion. Mr. Bailey.
So, Mia, I assume that basically is covering just the cost of the wage that the person doing that work would cover?
Your Honor, that is correct. Yes.
So have you factored in benefits and insurance and all the other things that go along with the wage of an employee?
Your Honor, we have not. We considered that, but when we started comparing prices with what the state charged and other municipalities, we discovered that it was just their flat wage. And once you start factoring in their benefits, it gets to be pretty expensive. So we were trying to provide a cost that would be reasonable for the customer to pay while still trying to cover part of our staff time, which right now we're just charging one flat fee.
I understand, but that's an expense that the city has to spend.
Correct.
To do that. And I know in the past, we have spent a considerable amount of time generating those documents for people. And I'm not saying we should be making money on it, but I think we should at least be covering our cost.
Break even.
And break even, correct.
Mr. Councilman Larson.
Additionally, the first hour of staff time for research is waived. Why is that?
Your Honor, because we do feel that we have a responsibility to provide records to our citizens and make them as readily available as we can and keeping the costs as low as possible. I'm sure that you all read a recent article in our local news about the cost of transparency in government. Riverton was one of the very most reasonable entities that provided costs at a reasonable rate, and we're still trying to recover a part of our costs and still provide a good service to our customers at a reasonable price.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir, Mr. Butterfield.
If I could add to Ms. Harris's response, also in state statute, it states that if the record is readily available, that we must provide it. And as Ms. Harris and I discussed this, I believe that a record is readily available if we can find it within that hour. And so we thought that provides an appropriate window to, again, work with our community and the customers that come in, but also be compliant with the statutory requirement that if it's readily available, we must produce it immediately.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Is there a cap to the amount of time?
Your Honor, no, there is not a cap to the amount of time. What we do as city staff is we would provide a quote for the cost at what we think that we could perform the job at. Then, if it were to exceed those costs, we would provide the citizen with the amount of research that we had performed up to that price, and then provide them with another quote of how much longer we think that it would take us to obtain the information. And then they would need to pay for that accordingly.
Your Honor, one follow-up question.
Sure.
It seems as though a lot of times FOIA requests tend to be fairly broad. And the broader the request, then obviously the more time it takes to aggregate that data. And I personally have experience in taking days and days worth of time that is a detriment to the organization because you're spending all your time trying to gather a fairly broad amount of material. So that's why kind of the premise of that. So do you try to suggest a narrower focus?
Your Honor, in the instances that I have dealt with, first of all, our request says please be specific and provide as much detail as possible, including addresses, dates, filing times, different things like that. But even when we've received a request from a citizen, I've followed up. We follow up with a contact with them, asking them for more specific or detailed information if it's too broad, particularly explaining to them that it's costing more money for them. If they could be more specific with what exactly they're looking for, then we do try to narrow that down with the citizen.
Great, thank you.
Ms. Harris, if we had a request, and we made an estimate as to what amount of time that would take and the pages, all of that, and it ended up being less than that, is there a way that we're returning funds unexpended, I suppose, to the citizen or not?
Your Honor, yes, it would go both ways.
Okay, just wanted to be clear on that because you had said the one but not the other, so.
Correct.
Thank you. But this has been something where if you've had requests and you're trying to narrow it down or at least understand it, because I mean, I think a lot of times folks don't necessarily understand what the records are. They're like, okay, what record is there? That's something that we have in the past. You have, other staff have reached out to them and said, okay, we want clarity. What exactly are you looking for? How can we assist? I guess that gets a little bit tricky though too, because we don't want to talk people out of public requests, so it gets to be walking a fine line. But that is something that, generally speaking, with requests, you seek clarity to the extent you can, correct?
Correct. And we seek clarity, but we honestly don't try to talk them out of it, but just be more specific with what you're looking for. And I've had a consumer come back and say, I want everything. And everything meant everything. And it was a very time-consuming process to produce the documents. But we do comply with whatever the request is.
And statutorily, we have a limited amount of time to be able to reach that request, correct? What is that?
Correct, Your Honor. We're required to acknowledge the public records request within 7 days of receipt. We're required to produce the information if readily available, but within 30 days, within a 30-day window. And then if there's extenuating circumstances, such as everything, then we are allowed to ask for an extension of time.
Okay. Great. Mr. Bailey?
I guess I see a time when the city, if they have enough of these requests, could be in a position where we actually have to hire more people to help staff either the job that Mia, for example, is trying to gather this information. Well, she has a job to do, payroll needs to go out, bills need to go out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And those cannot be put off either. So, I think that we're in a position where the city would end up paying for additional staff to fulfill these requests. And so I guess I don't see that the city should be doing it and losing any money. I don't think we should be making money on it, but I think we at least need to be covering the full extent of our cost, because it's a real cost. I mean, I'm sure they end up putting in overtime if they get close on a time crunch and they can't put off the other things they're supposed to be doing. And, you know,
Your Honor, and if I may, we did attend a public records seminar while we were at WAM as well, and we've reviewed the entire statute. And there is some language in the statute that says that that we need to be allowed a reasonable time frame, and that it cannot be detrimental to the interruption of our daily duties. So if somebody's asking for something that's going to incur overtime costs, it's probably not going to happen. We're going to extend the timeline to be able to provide the records in addition to performing our regular duties.
I guess the other thing is we want to be as transparent as possible. I mean, that's obviously the goal, is making sure that our citizens know what's going on. They are able to get government documents and other things to be able to know what government is doing. That's the most important goal of it. I know that the whole idea of even having a public records ombudsman at the state level is to ensure that and to kind of mediate and ensure that we're everybody's understanding what the expectations are and what can and can't be fulfilled and what timelines and that sort of thing. And so, any other discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I understand transparency. I understand information. I understand all of that. But everything comes at a cost. Filling up your 10,000-gallon water tank comes at a cost. Utilizing classified people in the city of Riverton comes at a cost. And to not bear the cost of the cost is false management. Those records requests are most of the time for legal purposes. They're not for transparency. And those individuals should bear the cost, whatever they are, if they so desire that information. Now, I'm not talking about roadblocking people, but we need to be responsible with the assets that we're given. And we pay for these people to work and do the work of the city. And giving out information below cost is not transparency. It's discounting services. And we don't discount services. We don't discount water. We don't discount sewer. We don't discount solid waste.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
I did review the rates at the Wyoming Division of Administration and Information. They're a huge resource for information for state records. And when we considered the wages that we looked at, they charge $15.50 per hour for clerical staff, $30 per hour for IT staff, and $40 per hour for professional staff. So I maybe am making the assumption, but I don't believe that the state of Wyoming is including the benefits in their pricing package as well. The other thing I wanted to mention is that our website carries a wealth of information regarding our council meetings and minutes, our agendas, our claims that are paid, all of our financials are out there. So a lot of that information is already readily available, and we can refer people to the website. Again, there are instances definitely where we do extreme amounts of research for folks, but as a whole, it's probably more readily available than anything for most of our citizen requests.
In other words, we haven't seen any sort of abuse, I guess, so to speak, of the FOIA process such that we would be needing to hire somebody basically just to fulfill these requests.
Your Honor, we have seen some huge FOIA requests, certainly, but I would agree that we wouldn't necessarily need to hire another employee to help fulfill those requests. They do happen, but they're not frequently enough that it would stem that.
I guess keep an eye on that and keep us posted. Any other discussion?
I was just going to mention, Your Honor, that, this also helps stem the abuse of that system. I've read articles about other organizations where they get FOIA requests upon FOIA requests, different organizations for the same thing or slightly different things just to muddle the waters. And that's unfortunate when people do that because it does hinder transparency. And I appreciate your answer that a lot of our information is already available. And, most things that we communicate about are like that. But sometimes people are, you have to be careful, especially when you're in public office, that if you're doing work on, for instance, a private phone, that could be FOIA'd as well, right? So, it kind of helps keep everybody in line, knowing what can be made available or what type of information can be obtained. So it keeps you using the proper channels when you're discussing affairs for the city or the community. So I think it's kind of a two-sided thing, knowing the cost and that the request could be out there, as well as keeping everything upfront and honest. I think that's critically important.
Well, and I just think that's the balance. Government exists, the whole idea is for the people, right? That's what we're meant to be doing. That's our jobs.
And there should be transparency.
And so it's just being able to decide to what extent that's something that the cost should be borne by the person who's requesting it. I appreciate the balance that we're trying to tread there. And I think being able to say this is within what's kind of in the recommended or the other communities have used areas, to me, makes sense. I hear exactly what Councilman Bailey and Councilman Larson are saying, but I think when we're trying to be responsive at the same time, be within a broad range of reasonable and what's expected, I guess, from our community, that's a good gauge to be able to use. And so looking at those numbers and getting it in that area, to me, makes sense. And I really appreciate being able to say, okay, the first hour is not anything. We basically are saying that's defined almost as readily available. That makes sense. It's something that isn't taking a lot of time out of somebody's business day. So that, I like it. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 I vote aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. Appreciate the discussion and appreciate the answers, Mr. Butterfield and Ms. Harris and everybody in the council too. Definitely worthwhile to be thinking about these needs. Last item on the agenda, unless we have an executive session. Good. Tree inventory consultant selection recommendation. Mr. Eggleston.
Thank you, Your Honor and Council. In June of 2024, we began soliciting statements of qualifications for a full-service firm to perform urban and community forestry consultation with the city. Part of this program is to develop a proactive tree management plan that will focus on areas around the city, such as Riverton City Park, Aspen Park, Monroe Park, Rhine Park, the baseball, softball complexes on Smith Road, and the dog park. All these locations in the city fall into a climate and economic justice screening tool and are identified as underserved in the community. We went out for solicitation. We received 2 qualified firms on June 12th. Those firms were Flaming Tree Solutions and JEO Consulting Group. We assembled a selection committee of 3 city staff members to review the applications and the solicitation, and our determination was that Flaming Tree Solution was denoted as the most qualified firm to handle those projects. As you may recall, we received a $75,000 grant from the Wyoming Department of Forestry for urban and community forestry projects in the city. This project will also include planting 50 new trees, along with a very in-depth tree inventory using most of the latest technology, such as LiDAR scanning and drone use as well. Our recommendation would be to approve or direct staff to begin negotiations with Flaming Tree Solutions. But you also have other alternatives. You can direct staff to perform interviews on the top-rated firms, or you could recommend another firm with whom to enter negotiations. Our recommendation would be to proceed with Flaming Tree Solutions and direct staff to begin negotiations.
Okay, thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve the selection of Flaming Tree Solutions as the consulting firm for the 2024 Urban and Community Forestry Project and direct staff to negotiate a contract for their services.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Discussion?
Would that, 75,000, would that be up to 75,000 limit on what they would be doing, or something? Do you feel that the 75,000 is the scope of the work that you've projected?
Your Honor, Councilman Larson, the entire project has some in-kind work as well. The project itself is slightly over 100,000, but most of that, in addition to the 75,000, is work in kind. As far as purchasing trees and the consultant themselves, the $75,000 would be adequate.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Well, it's 8:30. This has certainly been a really long meeting. I'm kidding. This is shorter than many we've had. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the regular council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Borders with the second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. You still there, Christie? I think I heard you say aye.
Yes,
Okay.
and I get.
We are adjourned at 8:27 PM. Motion passed. Thank you, everyone.
Really?